Hey, my name is Jumpy. A little backstory here before I begin. I was hanging out with my friend one night, and there were a couple movies she had already seen that she wanted to share with me. She let me pick which one I was more interested in seeing first, and I chose the 2017 film Revenge. It's a really simple story that doesn't do anything very unique. A woman is attacked and gets the movie's title. But it was good. I like the visuals, and there are some pretty fun little moments throughout. It's pretty unrealistic at times, like people living through things they probably wouldn't survive, which is totally fine. And there's some CGI that isn't great, but that's not a huge deal either. Revenge was written and directed by Coralie Fargaet. Unbeknownst to me while I was watching it, she also made The Substance, which is a 2024 movie I was already looking forward to seeing. Revenge was good enough that I watched The Substance the very next night. I didn't know what the plot of the movie was going into it, other than it has body horror. And I actually recommend going into this knowing as little as possible if you think you can handle a movie that's pretty gross at times. I'm not going to go into heavy spoilers in this video, but just go watch The Substance now if you haven't seen it already. The movie is about an actress named Elizabeth Sparkle, played by Demi Moore. There's an awesome overhead shot of her Hollywood Walk of Fame star that shows the passage of time from it being made until she's faded from popularity. She now hosts a TV exercise workout show. It's her 50th birthday, and her creepy boss Harvey wants to replace her with someone younger. She gets into a car accident, but she's completely okay. Then she finds out about the movie's title. What it does is that it makes another younger version of you in a separate body inside of you, which rips open your back and exits that way. You just sew up the giant wound, and then you need to transfer your life force back and forth between the new and original bodies every 7 days. When she's in the younger form, she calls herself Sue and is played by Margaret Qualley. To start with, she applies for the exercise show hosting gig and gets it. And that's all I'm saying. This might be the greatest movie ever made. I started noticing similarities between Revenge and The Substance pretty early on, mainly in the way close-up shots are used, but I was definitely more impressed with the visual style of The Substance. It goes a lot further and feels more confident. This director, she likes close-ups of bugs and close-ups of people eating. Later on, there are close-ups of gory wounds. The two movies have more blood than they should at times, as well as horribly violent dream sequences. Both also have long stretches without dialogue. Lastly, Sue has star-shaped earrings like the main character in Revenge. It was really interesting watching these two movies back to back. I love the look of The Substance and how it uses wide-angle lenses. The acting is really good all around. There isn't the most depth to these characters, which is another similarity with Revenge. But not every movie needs more fleshed out characters. There's enough to them that we understand their situations. With every new development that the story took, I kept thinking, yeah, I think I know where this is going. And then it kept surprising me with something new. I felt dread throughout the movie that kept escalating every time the character made a bad decision. And I understood where these decisions were coming from, so they never annoyed me. But I just didn't want things to get worse. I already mentioned that the movie is pretty gross. I will say it went further than I expected. I'd heard it was bad, but I knew it was rated R, so I underestimated how graphic it would get. I've definitely seen worse, but this wasn't tame by any means. And there is humor throughout the movie that I felt was used very well. The Substance did remind me of some other horror movies, including Cronenberg's The Fly and Evil Dead Remake. And there's another one that I can't mention because it would spoil the other movie. It takes these influences and combines them in a unique way while adding its own style to it, so it doesn't feel derivative. It's a long movie at 2 hours and 20 minutes, but it feels complete and satisfying. I didn't think it was too long. And of course, I love the social commentary on the dangers of obsession with youth and not wanting to get old. I'm easily giving this a 10 out of 10. I was on board the whole time watching it, and I don't have any real complaints about the film. I cannot wait to see what this director does next. If you haven't seen The Substance, go watch it. And if you've seen The Substance and haven't seen Revenge, go watch that. Take care, and I'll see you next time.